should read your Bible, sirs. You'll find all types of weird shit in there.
Hey, want to have a rousing discussion about truth, honor, patriotism?
No, not you. Not you. Your organization's terrible. Quiet. I'm not going to give you a question. You are fake news.
How about new, you crazy Dutch bastard?
You ever been mindfucked before?
You are fake news.
The media said what?
Let's see what these deep state characters are up to.
Now you see that evil will always triumph, because good is dumb.
Friday night dance party.
Oh, hi.
Look, we just happen to be dancing next to each other.
Oh, yeah, that's that was always my trick, is when I would be at the club, I'd be like dance and like kind of put my back and like, oh,
The
did I just
corner?
bump into you?
Oh my
hey.
gosh. Oh my, how did
I
that
just
work
bump
out
into
for you?
Whoa, the universe must be bringing us together. Like, we should totally hook up tonight. Like,
Yeah, how did that work out for you,
Oh.
Dutch? Yeah, about like that. That's what I thought.
what's the cheesiest attempt anyone has ever made to pick up on to pick you up?
Okay, so I was at Walmart one time and this guy came up to me and he's like, "Hey, I'm having a hard time finding like a shampoo I want." And this was when I was in
yeah.
college in Rexburg at BYU, Idaho. And I was like, what sad ass motherfucker doesn't know how to buy shampoo and is at college? And I was like, oh my God, like you are so helpless. So I was like, I mean, what shampoo have you used? He's like, I can't think of any. I was like, you are the dumbest guy. And he's like, what do you use? And I was like, well, mine smells like really fruity, so I don't think that's what you're going for. And so I just handed him like some swab. I was like, this will wash your hair. I don't know. And I'm walking away. He's like, can I get your number? And I was like, no. So I think he thought that was going to go way differently in his head, but I just thought he was stupid and didn't know anything about shampoo. So
Note to self: stop with the shampoo lines.
yeah,
Okay.
don't pretend like you don't know how shampoo works.
Yeah, I've never done that before. No.
You've never, oh, okay. Was the shampoo your go-to where you're just like, what do I even do with this?
Yeah, we must have been in the same master class on how to pick up chicks at the shampoo aisle in Walmart.
Yeah. What is a loofah?
Oh my God.
Explain
Yeah,
a shower to me.
Can you demonstrate this for me? Like, how do you clean, like, these nooks and crannies? Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say if you're like lead-in is you maybe don't understand hygiene, it's not gonna go well for you, I think. I hope you found a new strategy because that was really
I'll find
awful.
one. I'll find one. My wife is
Okay.
very interested in me picking up another wife so that I can leave
Mhm.
her. Like, she's excited about the potential of me like finding someone else. She jokes with me all the time. Oh, well, you'll be in California by yourself for 2 months. Maybe you'll meet your soulmate. Don't let the door hit you in the ass. And I'm like, okay. I'm
Well,
actively being encouraged to.
Okay, I would not recommend the shampoo method. You're gonna want her to think you know how showers work. Hygiene's important.
How do I turn the shower on? Oh, well, turns out since we're on the topic, Wednesday, I asked Anna what I thought was going to be a question that she would have about a 45-second answer to. It has to do with like all these women who are like taking videos of themselves at the gym and like there'll be some guy like checking them out and that sort of thing.
Oh yeah.
Is that something that you've come across? Do you find men, doing this one?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I've had guys do that. I usually,
It's okay to check chicks out.
Yeah,
Like, I think it's fine to look at a woman, but don't pretend to
Yeah.
come over here and be like, oh, do you know how to use that weight properly?
Yeah.
Just walk up to him and say, hi, I'm John. How are you?
Yes, exactly. I was going to
But-
say, like, I'm not ever mad at somebody for like a passing glance, because I'm not going to lie. Like, if there is a lady with the most peachy ass and I'm like, oh my God, look at her. But like a quick glance, that's okay. No harm, no foul. But it's like, there are people who would just like sit and stare, and you're like, and not far from you. Like, you'd be like on a row machine and they're like next to you on the row machine, and they're like, and you're just like, oh, like, I'm just going to turn up my music and pretend I have no idea you're doing that. But I don't know. Maybe
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
You're not doing that. But like,
What are you talking about?
I haven't had
Wheelie
that.
Snarky, what's up?
That didn't happen all the time. Like, there were like one or two guys that were kind of creepy. But none of them ever were like aggressively creepy. I did have one guy who was an asshole about the weights, because he would like hoard them all, and I'd be like, please, can I get the 10s? And he was like, I have to do this master 85-minute whatever. And he would just sit with them forever. And I'm like, please, can I just 110? Anyway, and then he'd come and like stand near you when you had any of the weights, and then like instantly grab them. That was the weirdest interaction I ever had. So whenever I saw him there,
that guy sounds like it. Is he part of the readout movement?
probably. Yeah, he's probably like lifting for those, readout gains.
For the the readout, that's what it's called, right? The American Readout Movement in Northern Idaho.
Yeah, people call it the readout or the redoubt.
The redoubt, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the ones that I would imagine that your leftist friends are calling to make sure that you're okay.
Yeah. No, those are the ones. I was just talking to kind of a prominent Republican today, and he's like, do you like have security? He's like, I get a little nervous. Like, we don't agree on everything, but he's like, some really, really like terrible people don't like you. And I was like, yeah, no. So like, yes, we have guns. Everybody in Idaho has guns. So, it'd be really bad if they showed up, but I appreciate the concern.
You have your Iron Man suit too. Let's not forget about
Exactly.
No.
I was gonna say, I'm at the gym, like getting these gains. So if I have to punch a Nazi, like, I'll do some damage. So
yeah, that might be a good idea. Just in case you have to punch a Nazi, or of course, a moderate. You can always punch.
I was going to say, depending on what the moderate says, yes, that's a viable option. So, well,
I'm totally for women's rights, but would you mind bending over? Yeah, punch time. So,
yeah. Guess who's moving to Idaho? Are you ready?
Candace
Do you want the worst one or the second worst one first?
Ooh, what genre? Like actor?
Nazis. The worst people in the country.
Nick Fuentes.
Yes, he's moving to North Idaho.
Yeah, I think I saw that.
Yeah. Okay. Guess who else is moving to North Idaho?
Milo.
Murderer.
OJ.
Kyle Rittenhouse.
Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh. Oh, Rittenhouse. Yeah.
Rittenhouse. Yeah, he's been like speaking at the Melaleuca building. He's coming for the Lincoln Day dinner in Bonneville County. Like, he is making his home here.
Yeah. Rittenhouse, for those of you who don't know, I mean, as much as I believe that it's murder, he was obviously found not guilty of this in the court. So protect us all. We must admit that.
Yeah.
However,
it was
when you
allegedly
actively seek out a situation with a firearm and then shoot someone, let's just say that my description of that would not be the same as the prosecution, but I'm not an attorney. So, but here's something
No.
that I can legally say. Kyle Rittenhouse is a piece of shit.
Absolutely.
Because Kyle Rittenhouse, when it's like, oh, well, I actually support Black Lives Matter. Turns out you lied. Turns out, no, you don't.
No,
so
no, he doesn't. I would say he deserves everyone who's kicking him out of everything and denying him entry. He deserves that every day till he's dead. So for whatever the length of time it is that he is walking this planet, I hope everyone kicks him out of everything. So
good old Rittenhouse.
Remember when he wanted to be a nurse for 3 seconds? And everyone was like,
that's the part about this. That's the part about the whole thing that I think flew under the radar during the whole court case. And I don't know, like, I'm sure that maybe the judge threw it out, and it couldn't be in evidence or whatever. But like, if you're there to be a medic and then you shoot someone, why are you not administering first aid? Because we all saw the video.
Yeah.
And like you had an opportunity there. Like, I think it's plausible. Like the first guy who chased you, I'm not going to sit there and defend that guy. He wasn't part of the protest. He was there. Like, he was just a troublemaker. He probably had some mental health issues. The other 2 people that were shot, I have a different opinion on than the first one, because I get to be honest, right?
Yeah.
So like, I can understand if someone's chasing you, yeah, you have the right to that. The other people were like told that there was an active shooter and they're trying to stop you so that you could be taken into custody because you just shot someone, so that the evidence could bear itself out in court.
Exactly.
He goes to shoot those people too, right? So the first guy, I don't understand why you didn't like try to use your medical pack that you fucking had on your bag and you were on camera saying you were there to help people.
Yeah, or say like, if I was in a situation where I'm feeling threatened and then I have to shoot somebody and then other people come around, I'd be like, we need to call 911. We need to get him help. Or I'm in shock, so I'm not able to. But like, this is what happened. You don't just start shooting everybody around you. And that's the whole thing that I think a lot of it, like, he showed up looking for a fight. I like, in my own opinion, he showed up looking for a fight and to be a tough guy. And when you are acting like a hammer, everyone you see is a nail. So he found the situation he was looking for. So
I got a couple comments from Narya and Wheelie. You want to grab a couple of those?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's see.
Hey, Bill.
Rittenhouse has really become a conservative darling. Well, he's got that civil suit going, so he's got to make some money, and people in Idaho are more than willing to just throw money at him. So he found a new grift, and it's the entire state I live in. So that's
Are they really equating Baldwin and Rittenhouse? That's weird.
I've seen people do it. I think this is a deflection by the right to try to like downplay what happened. Kind of like when they're like, January 6th was just a non-guided tour. Like, I agree.
Oh, it was guided. Bolbert guided it.
Yeah, I was going to say, MTG let them know. Willie Snarky Dragon again said Baldwin was negligent, and yes, I do believe he is responsible and should take responsibility, but Rittenhouse came with intent to kill. See, I think what they're trying to do is equate two situations that are different to downplay what Kyle did and his culpability with what happened.
I'm going to push back on that a little bit. I don't think Kyle Rittenhouse went there to kill. I think Kyle Rittenhouse went there to be a tough guy. Right. And to portray the image that he is a tough guy and that he's ready to kill. And obviously he did, but we're talking about what someone thought beforehand. Right. And like, it's hard for me to believe that someone went to somewhere with an intent to kill, and that's hard to prove. But I think it's clear that he went there under wanting to look tough, wanting to look like he was protecting a movement, wanting to portray this image because he was doing interviews, you know, like, and like he clearly was trying to pump up his social profile. And the last point I'll have on, because we litigated the Rittenhouse thing a year and a half ago, and I don't want to relitigate it, but like, it's amazing to me how for about 3 weeks, skateboards were considered deadly weapons in this country.
Exactly.
I have not seen much skateboard pushback of late.
No, there's nobody trying to ban or regulate skateboards. So
I could have sworn
and
that was him.
I agree mostly. I think he didn't necessarily go there intending to kill, but I think he went with a dehumanizing mindset and a kind of like, these are our enemy, they're destroying our
Right.
country, they're destroying our town. And I think he was prepared to shoot. Like,
Yeah.
or at least
clearly.
in like, and so I think very few people in those situations like wake up in the morning and they're like, I hope I kill somebody. I think though they dehumanize and make this other group their enemy. And so when they're confronted with a situation, they have this mindset of, well, I've got to shoot. I'm going to shoot. And so I think he had that mindset as, this is what I need to do to defend my country. So
and that mindset exists. If you don't believe me,
oh,
that
absolutely.
mindset exists within gun culture. I'll give you some advice. So you can test this theory. Go to your local gun store and try to buy a 380 or a 22. And watch as they try to talk you into buying something more powerful under the premise that, well, you need to kill on the first shot.
Yeah. Well,
and I've always fought that back
yeah.
with like, why do I want to kill some kid who's trying to steal a TV because he needs drug money? I'd rather help him than kill him. But they're like, oh, no. In gun culture, let me just wrap this real quick.
Oh yeah, no, you're great.
In gun
you're great.
culture, like a lot of gun groups will, and a lot of gun, not everybody, but a lot of gun advocates will push the narrative of like with your shotgun, birdshot, buckshot, slug. That's the order that you load them, because the birdshot is kind of like a warning shot, and then that third shot, okay, now I'm at the slug. Now you're going to die. But like it seems to me that the mentality a lot of times, not everybody, but a lot of times in the gun community is slug first. And that is problematic to me. A lot of these people are, when you talk to them, it seems as if they cannot wait for something to happen where they will get to take someone out.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of it. No, just like I was raised conservatively in Montana and Idaho. So guns were very much a part of my upbringing. And one of the things that was always said, like anytime we went shooting, anytime we went hunting, is if you've put your finger on the trigger, like you never put your finger on the trigger until you're ready to kill. And then you 100% are ready to kill. And so like that was the mindset. It like, even as a child, it was like, you have, trigger restraint, you don't touch that trigger, but if you've put your finger on the trigger, you've already decided you're ready to kill. And even not in hunting situations, we'd be just like shooting at the range. And it was like, okay, remember, like once you've got your sights, once you're ready, you've put your finger on the trigger, it's because you're ready to kill. And so like, whenever they try to say like, no, it's just for fun, it's just a sport. It's a sport where you're psyching yourself up to kill. And that's part of it. And it could, is it not that for some people? Maybe, but that is what I've seen that it is. And so where they always try to act like it's separate, it's not really. That's part of it.
If any of you are confused, by the way, by Twitch comments, like this one from Bill, tomorrow I meet the two friends who are building a website for my comic strips. I'll do my best to point out that reasonable liberals and conservatives need to work together. We see that comment, but there may be some of you on my Twitch channel, Dutch Jason, and others on Dig on America Twitch channel. This goes to 2 channels and YouTube. So, this is a little bit different from my normal stream for those of you who are regular to my normal stream. Just wanted to throw that out there.
No, thank you. And also, thank you. I am also sorry all these psychos are moving to Idaho.
Real quick, I'm going to play. Actually, let me do it this way. Lindsay,
yeah,
would you like to go on a date with me?
Oh, where are we going? Where are we going?
Notice she just said
yes. Do you know how to use shampoo? Well, I need to know if you know how to use shampoo first, to be honest.
That is, I plead the fifth.
Okay.
But I would like you to go. So she's just agreed to go on a date with me. We're going to the movies, and we're going to watch something, and she is not going to be happy that she said yes. She's going to wish, like most women, she's going to wish, like most women, that she had said no. But you know what? Too late now. I already picked you up, and we're
all right,
in the
here
car.
we go.
We're in the car.
Trap.
It's a twap. I started watching this video earlier.
You don't need me to tell you what America's
Oh
problem
no,
is.
my God, it's PragerU.
Yeah, the so like I look over at you and I'm like, see, aren't you glad you came on this date? I started watching this video earlier and I got about halfway through it and I was like, stop, because I spent the first 3 hours of my day today saying I'm just going to watch PragerU videos and respond to them. I barely got through any because I keep pausing them every 30 seconds. But this one I thought of you specifically. So
Oh, good.
we're going to watch this video. It's 5 minutes and 49 seconds long. I have a feeling it's going to take us longer than that to get through it because Lindsay is going to blow her shit. This is almost as bad as if our date had been to go to see the new Kevin Sorbo Left Behind reboot.
Oh, okay.
That'll be our second date.
You really know how to
She's
woo
not going to have a
woman.
second date. She's not going to have a second date with me, guys, just so you know. Even though my wife is hoping that she will go on a second date with me.
Oh my gosh.
She won't. Anyway, all right, here we go. This is Kendall Qualls, president of Take Charge, whatever the fuck that is. This video is titled What America Could Be.
Oh.
Pull back the curtain. Here we go. Oh, and Lindsay, pause me whenever you wish.
Oh, great.
You don't need me to tell you what America's problems are. Plenty of people can do that.
You can hear this good, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's too good.
Instead, let me tell you about America's future, what it can be. I'm not making a prediction, but there's a new golden age waiting for us if we do just 5 things. 1, reconnect with our Judeo-Christian roots. In this vision of the future, a majority of Americans realize we have to return to the basics. A new appreciation of traditional Judeo-Christian values takes place. Call it a new awakening. We became...
Real quick,
No.
what does that mean?
It means we all have to like live under Christian dominionism. I'm thinking this is just a real gentle Christian dominionism.
The Great Awakening Part 2.0. So,
fantastic.
okay,
This is going to be really good.
It's going to be really good. Again, just call out pause and it will
You
pause
did not
immediately.
even give me any popcorn.
Yeah, but I see my mom dropped us off here and she forgot to give me the $5.
Oh, well, shoot. Popcorn would have made this go down a little easier, to be honest.
I'm sad about Kevin Sorbo too, Bill. I'll put that comment up so
man.
the people on the other Twitch channel can see it. I loved Hercules, but anyway. All right, back to the good.
an exceptional nation because we were largely a self-governing nation, the first in human history.
That's not true.
I'm sorry. I'd like to argue the premise. We became a successful country on the bodies of indigenous people and Black people because of slavery. We took resources from them and from that called it manifest destiny. So anyway,
the house on the hill, the 7 mountains.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, Lindsay, you're being very rude. Back to the movie.
I know. Oh.
The U.S. Constitution begins with the phrase, "We the people." But self-government only works if we are a moral country. And
are you ready? Are you sitting down?
I'm so scared. I'm so scared. It's going to be so bad.
Are you sitting?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me hold your hand. Oh, here we go.
Is this
to be that, we need to appreciate the source of our values.
What do you think the source of our values is going to be?
The Bible.
Oh. What values? Like Which ones? The child murder ones?
The not wearing clothes of different cloth, not eating shellfish,
No
stoning your
braids.
wife if she's unfaithful.
No
you know,
tinkling jewelry. Abortions if you think your wife cheated.
Right. Hey, Plofisk. Hello. Hello, Plofisk. How are you?
As a Norwegian, this is so strange but definitely interesting. My ancestors were Norwegian, and now I'm here because they were the dumb ones who came to this country. So, anyway.
Oh, and by the way, if you're following the channel, just one of the two channels is your first comment. Just say hello as your first comment. We can't see. Normally, we can see that, but this studio doesn't allow us to see that, like subs and stuff. So just let us know you did it. Be self-aggrandizing. It's fine.
Our second president, John Adams, understood.
Not an abolitionist, by the way.
Stood this right from the beginning. Our Constitution.
Wait. But isn't he super moral because of the Bible? Except for slavery and how they treated indigenous people and women. Anyway, just minor details.
And non-property owners and Catholics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this statement is very interesting. Our Constitution
was made only for a moral and religious people.
So you can take the word moral out of there. Constitution was made for religious people, but specifically for a certain subset of religious people.
Yeah. Well, and just like, I'm so.
It is.
I'm always.
That was an accident. Sorry.
No, you're totally fine. I'm always tired of this argument that you have to be religious to be moral. That you have to derive your sense of morality from the Bible. I know we've talked about this a lot, but this idea that you're only good because this book of Sephardic culture taught you how to be good, then you're not a very good person. You're not a very moral person. If you're only good because you're scared of a God in the sky who will punish you, you're not a moral person. And
that's the Ken Ham argument.
Yeah, I'm tired we pretend otherwise.
Ken Ham literally said, well, what difference does it make to raise good kids if there's not an afterlife? So that because we don't have an afterlife in the view of non-religious people, it actually puts more value on the time here on earth than it would if you have an afterlife. None of this really means that much in comparison to it.
Well, and they really tell on themselves. Like when I was Mormon, people would get up. We had something called Fast and Testimony meeting the first Sunday of every month. And people would get up and be like, if I wasn't Mormon, I'd be an alcoholic who just beat the shit out of my wife. And I'm like, what? Like, just this idea that if you weren't going to this specific church, you would be an absolute monster. Then you're already a monster. You're already a monster.
Monsters are monsters. He should have stopped the statement here at "It's wholly inadequate," but unfortunately he didn't.
Inadequate to the government of any other.
That's true. I would agree. It's inadequate.
Of course, this doesn't mean that you have to follow a specific religion or any religion at all.
But you literally just said it did.
He kind of literally just said that. So that's a bit disingenuous, sir. You don't have to be religious, but we know you guys are heathens with no morals, so.
It only gets better from here. Aren't you glad you said yes?
You know what? Uh-huh. I
have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Lindsay's like, I need to go to the restroom. I'll be right back.
I'm going to duck out the window. Run.
That's your constitutional right. But it does mean that
anytime you say that's your constitutional right, but
we wish you didn't actually have those rights.
And here's that part.
Society, we recognize Judeo-Christian values as our moral compass. Pointed in the right direction, a new sense of civility returns. Politics remains as fractious as ever, but our debates are more about policy than personality.
We don't ever talk about policy. It's all culture wars.
Personality cults are literally the thing, and they cross that out.
Yeah. No, that's literally all they do. We don't ever talk about policy.
Plofisk, For me, it doesn't matter what religion you follow. I think the character of the person speaks higher than the religion they follow. I wish that was the case for most people, but it's not. They're telling you right here in this video that you, in order to pass their purity test, you have to subscribe to these values and attribute those values to Judeo-Christianity.
Well, and they said they're like, you can be any religion, but very clearly he's like, but we feel like the moral compass one is Judeo-Christian. So we're all equal, but just some of us are more moral compassy than others. Sorry.
Yeah, if you want to worship Zorkon, the space god, let's not pretend, Zorkon once cheated on his wife, so he sucks. Of course, Zorkon doesn't exist. But anyway.
Constructive and less bitter. 2, we take control of our children's education.
It was pointed out to me earlier that there's a biology book on the top of this stack that is very tiny.
Yeah, because they don't believe in most of the biology.
What would you say they believe about the 2 books below that, Lindsay?
Also, mostly fairy tales. Yes.
Pay attention to the biology written on the side of the blue book. You'll see something interesting later.
Oh, no.
In this renewed America, moms and dads demand to be informed about exactly what their children are learning. They don't take no for an answer. They get themselves elected to local school boards to make sure their wishes are enforced.
Real quick, yes, they are. And churches are at the forefront of this takeover of school boards, by the way.
Yes. No, it's
are you
a
getting
huge
a lot
problem.
of that there?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have a TikTok coming out because this whole push for education spending accounts and vouchers, the whole point is they're trying to circumvent the Blaine Amendment, and it's happening in 15 states right now. But what they're trying to do is bankrupt public education and funnel that money into private Christian schools. Like we have several legislators who also just happen to be pastors of churches, and they're the ones pushing hardest because then they can create whatever school situation they want, and they're going to get $8,000 per student, regardless of the education they give. They'll have no standards. It doesn't matter. But it's going to be a huge grift. There's going to be millions and millions of dollars funneled out of the public school system into these religious schools. And we're already seeing it in Arizona, where they gave a budget of $20 million for their voucher program. And this year it was over $300 million. And their public school system is struggling in so many areas. And that is the end goal, is to destroy public education.
We'll get back to the movie in a second. This comment, I think you'll find interesting, from Wheelie Snarky.
Oh, yeah. But how do they feel about David, who is supposedly God's favorite, and yet he had a gay relationship with Jonathan? I mean, as a Mormon, I was told that they were just really good friends. And
very good. The best of friends.
Yeah. And Jesus never drank wine. It was actually grape juice. So best friends just sharing some grape juice.
Wheelie Starking back and says too many people on all sides have unhelpful motives for getting involved with schools. I don't disagree with that, but these things are not equal. There's any issue that's being caused from the left is not equal to the ridiculousness that's happening on the right. So
I was going to say,
who ran naked through the fields together?
Let's compare what the left says. What do they want in school? They want social emotional learning, which I think is incredibly important. My parents didn't have necessarily the education or experience to teach me coping tools for things I was experiencing. I love them, and also their response to stuff is just to spank me or send me outside. So chill, and that where everyone's that should be taught at home. It's not. It's absolutely not. So teaching kids at school, hey, count to 10, and you're going to feel lots of big feelings. Here's things you can do, just methods to help them regulate how they're feeling. I think that's very important. That's one of the things the left wants. And accurate anatomy and physiology lessons, especially at the high school level, which Children deserve to know about their body. We don't hesitate to tell them about what their eyes do or what their digestive system does. But all of a sudden, when it comes to their reproductive system, all of a sudden, we just don't want to talk to them about it. And everyone says the parents should. The parents aren't. The parents aren't. As someone who works in healthcare, parents are not. And so that leads to all kinds of really terrible situations for these children who deserve to know how their bodies work so that they can protect themselves and get help when something's going on. Or if they're in high school or college, prevent a pregnancy if they don't want to be pregnant. That's what the left wants. The right wants to stop any discussion about Jim Crow, racism, slavery, anything that isn't super pro-America. They want to stop discussions about anything about the founding fathers that isn't completely like pro-America, this mythos we've built about these founders. Anything that isn't super pro-Christianity, they don't want to talk about it. And ultimately, they want to dismantle the public school system. They've been very clear about wanting to dismantle the public school system and move to these vouchers and ESAs in these schools that don't have to take Black kids or Jewish kids or disabled kids. So they want to create this new stratified system where they can get their white Christo-Judean kids a really good education or a really shitty education, but they think it'll be good, and destroy the public school system for everybody else who they will not allow into their private schools. Like they're not the same. They're not the same. They're just not.
Yeah. They're not equal. Couple of interesting comments here real quick. Naria, I love your comment. Lindsay, I'll let you get this one. You'll love this one.
I'm in favor of sex education in school and in favor of making some Congress people attend it. Yes. Yes. Yeah. I think minimum every legislator should be required to take a basic sex ed class because
they're so against sexualizing kids, but yet where's the boycott of Hooters?
Yeah. Oh no, they love that though. Or like kid pageants. So I've had so many fights with people because in Idaho, as in other parts of the country, there's this huge push against drag shows, any kind of drag brunch, like whether kids are attending or not. And I've been like, as somebody, I regularly go to drag shows. I think they're very fun. The drag show I'm paying to see on a Saturday night is not the drag show that they're doing at the parade on Sunday morning. Like it's not the same. And it's no different than, and so all these people who are like, but drag, it's not appropriate. Like they're sexualizing. I'm like, do you take your kids to sports games? Any sports game where there's cheerleaders? Because they don't seem to have a problem with cheerleaders.
That's a good point. I didn't think of that.
They don't seem to have any problem with child pageants. Not a single problem in the world. Dressing kids up as a little tiny adult women. No problem in the world with that. They don't seem to have any problem with like high school dance teams wearing basically bikinis doing dances for audiences, which is fine. I don't care. If their parents don't care, I don't care. But they have no problem with that. But then they're really mad because drag queens dress up and do a lip sync. Like, it's pretty damn hypocritical.
But
or like you said, they're fine taking their kids to Hooters.
Yeah, I've never been to Hooters or wanted to go there. The food isn't good anyway, so
that's what I've heard.
Missing much.
I've never been because, like, I've heard the food's not good, so I don't care.
Why is it not going back? Oh, I just stopped it by accident. Okay, up. Lindsay's not getting off the hook that easily.
Technology was on my side.
Yeah, the MyPillow guy tried to stop it, but here we go. Lindsay's been saying a lot of things that PragerU is going to say now. Here we go.
Oh, no.
Value-centered private schools, charter schools, online schools, and homeschools sprout up all over the country. Public schools stop being warehouses and become real places of learning.
Sounds like you almost just said that's the narrative that they have. They want the private schools to be exactly the same as the public schools.
Yep. After they've completely dismantled it. I was going to say, what do they think is happening in public schools? Like, I'm the first one to say there's a lot of things that we can do to fix our public schools. There's lots.
Sure. Yeah.
But they create a basically educated populace. And there's different levels of schools. And I think there's still inequalities inherent in the system because
Yeah.
like, first of all, that we fund our schools through property taxes. So that's
Right.
why that's, that immediately will create inequalities between different schools. But this idea that schools aren't teaching kids is nonsense. This is
not only
all
that,
propaganda.
no, yeah, but not only that, people move into areas where because they want their kids to go to good schools, and that's an admirable thing.
Yeah.
But a lot of times people will buy a house in an area that might be $20 or $30 or $40,000 more than a house a block away because of the school district difference. And that $20 to $30 or $40,000 a year is real money that they have to pay back, and oftentimes can cause some instability in other areas of their life as far as their budget goes, because they want to put their kid into a particular better school district. Why can't we figure out a way to make it not make that much of a difference if your house is at the left or right side of the street, of the same street?
Exactly. Oh yeah. There's where it's split down the street. So one side of the street goes to one school and one side goes to the other. And if we just pooled all the money in a school district, all the money goes into one pot, or section, like square it off into 4 different sections. All the money goes into one pot and then is equally distributed to the schools. Why wouldn't we do that?
It's a simple division. The school, state A collects 4 million. I'm just making up pretend numbers. 4 million in property taxes a month. There are 500 schools. One is a numerator, one's a denominator. You equal amount per school.
Exactly.
I don't see why that's hard.
Yeah, because that's like in Idaho, we have so this person, Butter Knife, says make schools federal. I'm not sure. I'm not saying schools should be federal, but I'm saying whether you want to do it in a county or within the entire state, all of the money collected through property taxes for education should then be evenly distributed to each school. And you have problems where then you get like rural schools. We have rural schools in Idaho that aren't actually fit for children to be in. Like they don't have AC. They don't, like, one of them, the plumbing has gone out like every other week this entire year.
Who needs it?
Yeah, it's just like these huge things. Or one, the heater went out for 2 months in Idaho. We have a very cold winter. And so like these but they don't have enough of a tax base to collect, and take them a year to get a levy. So they aren't being educated. So if all the money was equally gathered up for property taxes and then equally distributed to the schools, based on how many students they need, like you could do some simple division there. If there's only 30 students at the school, give them enough proportionately as the other schools. And then we don't have these wild variations in how much funding goes to each school.
Right. And butter knives, you make a really good point, right? Like Arkansas would be terribly funded versus Virginia. I completely agree with that. But we need to agree first to stop operating on a square mile level to at least the state level before we start pushing it to the national level. I mean, if we can pass legislation to federalize it and do that division that way, I'm in favor of that. I just think it's quicker and more, and it would be easier to be passed on a state level than it would be on the federal level to experiment with this, because it will work.
Yeah.
Like if California were to adopt this, which by the way, they're not progressive as they say they are, so they don't pass this. But you should never have a situation where one kid lives on one side of the street, the other kid lives on the other side of the street. They go to the same mall, and one goes to a school that graduates doctors, lawyers, and astronauts, and the other one has a 60% graduation rate.
Exactly.
That is not equal.
Exactly.
That is not equal access.
Yeah.
We don't guarantee equal success. We just want to enable somewhat equal opportunity.
Exactly. And I like, wrong comment. Sorry. This comment from Lily Snarky Dragon. You had some great comments today. Thank you. And homeschooling. My God, did you see the Nazi group that was unmasked recently with 3,200 people? This is, I am not, on principle, I'm not against homeschooling. I think for a lot of people, it is a good alternative. Some kids just don't learn well in the classroom. There are just a ton of different factors. I even know, I know a family where their child got cancer, and so they really couldn't go to school. So absolutely, yes, please homeschool your child. I think that there's so many reasons, or super rural families. There's a lot of good reasons to homeschool. I'm not on principle against the idea of homeschooling, but our homeschooling, at least in Idaho, and I know quite a few states, it's I briefly lived in Missouri. It's completely unregulated in Missouri. There aren't any standards that these kids have to reach. They don't have to take any test that shows they know how to read or that they know how to do basic math. And so there are some families who do it very, very well. They really, their focus is on teaching their kids the skills that they need to be successful, and they do a great job of it. And then there are families who do things like unschooling, where the whole idea is like, just they'll organically absorb the information through their skin. I don't know. And there aren't regulations to catch these kids. So some of these kids never learn how to read or don't know how to do basic math. And then, the whole book Educated with Tara Westover was a fantastic example of, she lacked the basic skills to go to high school. She lacked the basic skills to go to college, and there was no regulation to catch that. And she was someone who was able to get it together and be successful. But a lot of these kids don't have those opportunities. And so, like, especially with the ESAs, they want to pull money from public school and give these homeschool families all this money. Like, there have been families in Idaho that are like, woohoo, I'll get a $25,000 raise. They aren't planning on actually teaching their kids with that money. They just view it as it's socialism. They want the taxpayers to fund, whatever their bills are, and they just keep their kids at home.
Yep. I mean, I'm not a big fan of homeschooling, but I understand there is in general, but I understand there is, like you mentioned, some instances where it might benefit the child. What I'm against is people putting their kids in homeschooling to give them a incomplete, biased religious education.
I agree.
And if you're on the right and you're saying, oh, well, homeschooling Dutch is so much better, shut up. You're a liar, because I remember a year and a half ago, all of you telling me that kids needed to be in schools and that we needed to open back up schools because of the social deficiency. So you don't get to tell me that for 4 months and then all of a sudden, and by the way, they'll still tell you that schools are closed.
Oh yeah, people are nowhere in the country are they closed. Like, hell, in Idaho, they never closed. We just let everybody get COVID and then shipped all our sick people to Washington. It was fine. It was Washington bails us out, those blue states. But yeah, no, I have huge problems with that. So,
and we see you guys have some good comments in the chat. 4.0 GPA through his post-secondary years, and his family homeschooled in Florida. That's great. That worked for that person. But there's different circumstances. I feel Butterknife says homeschooling is biased, but they also are better prepared for a career than public schools. I'd like to see that on a bell curve. I'm not sure. I think it can be, but it isn't always. But again, this points to a deficiency with our public school system. And it's because our public school system has all these other influences on the outside of it that take money out of that system and put it in the private system. So, but we'll run back to the video here because Lindsay's got her popcorn and she wants to finish. She's really excited to finish the movie.
I am excited for it to be done. That's true.
Proficiency in reading, writing.
Real quick, remember I mentioned biology?
Oh yeah, now it's not anymore because that biology is the devil's science.
Yeah, they changed their mind halfway through the video. It's okay, they'll PragerU.
And math become our preoccupation rather than
Okay, what they just said there, we should be focusing on reading, writing, and math.
Okay,
but
perfect.
Subjects like racial grievance, gender identity, and global warming. Okay,
so I have 3 kids in the public school system in a very conservative state, but like a blue part of a conservative state. And I have we haven't had. When do we get like racial grievance class?
In college, maybe.
Okay, because like I'm just saying we haven't gotten those yet, and so I'm just wondering where they are. When do those come?
And climate change, by the way, that's part of science class. So fuck you.
I was gonna say, yeah, like social grievance should also be part of like history. As we learn what we did, we can maybe say, oh, that was not great. We shouldn't do that.
But of course, they won't tell you that. This is so propaganda-y. No. And Lindsay, I can't wait for you to see the second act.
Oh, it's gonna be so good.
Music and art appreciation make a comeback. So do dress codes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, just a second. So they want some art and music. They have been spending decades defunding public education and talking about how, well, we're just going to keep throwing money at the system. We're just going to keep throwing money at public education. And so schools didn't have money, so they had to cut music and art programs. And now all of a sudden, we're going to fund art. The fuck you are. The fuck you are.
And the uniforms.
Yeah. Oh, because that was critical. I don't care either way, but my God.
This one's going to win an Oscar. The socialistly awkward Oscars winner. Yeah, they are the first casualties, Naria. You're exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
And butter knives, so are you.
Discipline and test scores improve.
They have no evidence for that claim.
Yeah, no. Do you know what actually does? Focused spending, increased focused spending makes for better test scores. And letting our teachers teach. My God.
Yep.
3, we laugh cancel culture out of existence.
Oh, I can't.
Oh my God. Oh my God. No. Can they? I want to watch. Can they just sit and
America regained.
How about they get to just laugh?
Hypersensitive reactions to perceived slights are no longer taken seriously.
Lindsay, a quick question. Have you ever heard anyone cry victim more than the church?
No. Always. Oh, I have never in my life. Do you know who constantly talks about how they're a victim in this country? White middle class people. Constantly. Oh, I had to remember somebody's pronoun one time, and I saw a rainbow, and that made me sad. I felt like, why are there rainbows here?
It's a sign from God. God created
they,
rainbows for Noah.
They make me uncomfortable. And then I saw a Disney show, and 2 girls were holding hands. Nobody is a victim as much as like the cis hetero white conservatives in middle America. Nobody brings up grievances like they do.
I feel like I'm a victim right now because I don't have all of the attention on me on this show.
I know. Why aren't we should get a word count who talks more. We should see if you're getting an equal share. Mm-hmm.
We're able to tell a harmless joke without worrying about being hauled into the human resources office.
Oh, I'm sorry. That would no. They're just no. That is never what happened. I was able to tell Barbara I loved her tits, but that was in the 60s. And now if I say that, I'm going to get fired, you dumb bitches. Like, what? What? Harmless jokes. I can't. Dutch. These people don't live in reality. No, you know what did happen one time? I had a coworker who was talking about how women shouldn't be able to vote. And his whole basis for that was the Adam and Eve story. And then I said, okay, but human rights should not be determined on like the mythos that you base your religiosity on. Like you can feel that way, but like my rights should not be dependent on your religious mythos. And he went to HR because I called the Adam and Eve story mythos. Like he went to HR, not me, because he said I shouldn't be able to vote based on his religion. No, he did, because I was like, I mean, I don't think my rights should be based on your mythos. And they're like, I mean, that's kind of an indelicate way to talk about religion. Everybody go fuck themselves. I'm sorry. No.
0 fucks given, Lindsay. Bill, what she was saying, what made me laugh was she said, "Oh, I'm upset because I can't tell Deborah how nice her tits look without getting called into HR." But and to the comment by Naria, you say, do people seriously think that everyone makes an off-color joke gets fired in corporate America? Oddly enough, and I watched up until about right here. They're going to disprove their own statement in 2 seconds. Here it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Too far.
Wait. Forgot to say.
We can't see it, Dutch.
Yeah, here it goes.
we're quietly told to be more self-aware, and the matter is dropped.
That's exactly how it happens.
That is literally what happens. Like, short of you like assaulting someone, that is literally what happens. Unless what you did is
that'd be a
so
different story.
egregious.
Right. I am married to an HR professional. That is literally how it works. It is the third and sometimes fourth strikes, because that would start in most cases, depending on the severity. It starts with a documentation, a final, and then termination.
Yeah. I was gonna say,
Okay.
no, that's so funny that, like, where do they work that they think this happens? Because
it happened to one person, or they said it happened to one person, so therefore they attribute that to all companies across America.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's so ridiculous.
All right, the people are coming over. They told us to be quiet.
Lessons learned. With the pressure off, the office environment improves, employees stop walking on eggshells, and productivity increases.
That is called speculation.
If you're walking on eggshells at work, it's because you're a dick. Like, it's because you want to say something that's inappropriate.
I've never watched a PragerU video before, and I watch them all the time, by the way, because part of what I do on my channel is lampoon these things. I've never paused a video more.
Just like I like say something, I calm down, and then he says like 3 more sentences, and I'm outraged again. Like, I'm gonna need like so much melatonin to go to bed tonight.
You can take a breath and read Butter Knives' comment.
Yeah, I worked in manufacturing, and it depends on the company. I've seen CEOs make $200K a year and get away with sexist comments, and CEO make $120K a year and get fired for inappropriate conduct. Yeah, it happens, but it's because something inappropriate was done. It's not like anybody's like, I don't know, like, you should do more squats in the gym and they get fired. Like, it's usually a pattern of behavior, or what they said or did was incredibly egregious. And so they're like, we have to walk on eggshells. I've never felt like I have to walk on eggshells. So
me either.
Like, if you feel like you do, it's because you wanted to say something inappropriate. And now you feel sad that you can't say it without consequences. What they are is really sad about consequences when they got to make those jokes in the 80s and it was just totally fine.
And champagne comedy, in a lot of situations, that's actually, I actually agree with that.
Yes.
I think you need to have some social, connection at work. That's a positive thing to some people, but to others, it's not. That's not the argument they're making. They're making the argument that Americans, like conservatives, have to they're such victims because they can't tell what do you call a Mexican on a bike joke? It was just a harmless joke, man. I don't really think that way about Mexicans, except I do.
Yeah, enough to say the joke. Or I've even had I've had some men, I get this comment off and on where they're like, well, what is an appropriate comment? Like, how can I comment you without being creepy? And I'm like, well, what is the purpose of the compliment? Like, if somebody comes up to me and they're like, oh, your shirt is really cool. Or like, oh, did you dye your hair? Yeah, great, cool. Like, ask me about myself. But if it's a compliment, it's like, oh my gosh, you're like so beautiful. I'm like, and they're like, well, I'd like to say that to brighten people's day. Well, then you're not trying to give someone a compliment. You're trying to feel like you're a good person or that you brighten someone's day. That's for you. Like, if your compliment is about, oh, hey, like, great work you did, or that was a really funny joke, or that's a cool shirt, or, oh, did you dye your hair? Because it looks different today. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about that.
I understand kind of where they're coming from, but like with PragerU on this one, because like there was a situation, and I'm going to disprove them by saying this, but like I understand kind of where they were coming from. Yes, it is. Thank you.
Your hair is so beautiful.
So there was a girl who I worked with at my last job, who when I started working there was very overweight. She was doing, I don't know what the fuck she was doing, but she probably lost 70 pounds. And
wow.
I told her at one point, I was like, it's like kind of rude to not, acknowledge. So I told her, I was like, well, how would I do it? So I thought about it, and I have also lost weight. And I thought, well, how did someone tell me that? And they were like, dude, you look fucking awesome. You look healthy. I'm so fucking super proud of you. Like, what are, what have you been doing? So I did exactly the same thing. And she was like, oh, well, I've just been cutting carbs out of my diet or whatever it was. I don't even remember how she answered me. And because I took the extra 45 seconds to think through what I was going to say before I said it, then I didn't have a problem. But oh, damn, dude, girl, shit. Look at your ass.
Yes. No, my benchmark is like, if you are a straight like cis guy, and you would not say it to like another male coworker, I don't want you to say it to me because we're just working together. I don't like, because if it was a guy, you'd be like, oh, hey, like, what are you doing? Like, you look really healthy. Like, good for you. You would say that to another guy, no problem.
Yeah.
But it's when they say something super, like, that's all we ask is, like, just don't be creepy because we're women. Like, just.
Yeah. And one comment is different from, like, if I said it one time and I said it again 2 days later.
Yeah.
That's different.
Oh, that's what I'm saying is it's like, let me tell you, as a woman, I have had like men, it's mostly men, say really creepy things to me at work. And 99.999% of the time, like, I will just like brush it off because it's going to be a pain in the ass to say anything because I'm going to have to go to HR or I have to say something to them, and then work is fucking weird and they think that I'm this super overly sensitive bitch. And so I will let it just like go. But if it becomes a pattern where now I'm uncomfortable to work and they always say something, then I will say something. And it still is a pain in the ass because I have to go to HR and then they act like I'm this super hypersensitive bitch. And so if a woman has said something, the vast majority of the time, it's because it's a pattern of behavior and they are no longer comfortable being around that person.
Yeah. And HR people do, like, unfortunately, a lot of times they'll be like, oh, these women, they can't take a compliment anymore, because HR unfortunately trains people to assume that, like, in their circles, maybe not in the training in school, but in their, what is it? The Society of Human Resources, SHRM, and clubs like that, these conversations do get had, and they're like, oh my God, people are such wusses these days. And that doesn't help the conversation. But
yeah.
All right. I told you this was going to take a long time to get through 5 minutes. We still have 2 minutes left.
Oh my God.
The spoiled brats lose influence.
That's us.
A new Saturday Night Live appears. One that
this one's so crazy.
Pokes fun at everyone and anyone, right and left.
That's literally what we have right now.
Yeah. Do they watch that show? They poke fun at everybody.
Jim Carrey played Joe Biden.
Yeah. No,
the girl from Ghostbusters played Hillary. I forget who does the Verizon commercials. I don't remember her name.
And they poked fun at all of them. They poked fun at everybody.
They live in a mystery world that no one else lives in, where it's just attacking the right all the time.
Well, they live in this world where they always like, every accusation is a confession. They're constantly talking about everybody wants to be victims. Everybody's trying to be victims. Like, let's all toughen up. And then what a weird thing to be like, Saturday Night Live doesn't pick on the conservatives anymore. You guys hurt our feelings. We want to enjoy like your mid comedy too.
Yeah. Aren't they the same ones who just said 2 seconds ago, you can tell a harmless joke and not get offended by it?
Yeah. No.
But apparently not.
But not for them though. That's super offensive.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. It's only a one-way grade. Never mind. I thought they were human for a minute.
Crackers crumbling over SNL.
4, we become energy independent and secure our supply lines.
What?
America becomes the world's dominant energy producer.
We already are.
Yeah. Like, what do they want? Where do they think this brand new energy is going to come from?
We're already the dominant energy producer. We're the number one producer of oil and gas in the fucking world.
I was going to say, what does he think is going to happen if the Republicans take over where there's suddenly energy? Is this that Ayn Rand book where they find that mysterious source of energy in the Rocky Mountains? What do you think is going to happen?
Good point, Butterknife. Like, oil needs to be stronger. They're already one of the strongest lobbies in the fucking nation. Maybe second to the gun lobby. Anyway,
Not only do we produce more than enough energy for ourselves, but we produce enough to help our allies. We do
only our allies too, by the way.
it by
Well, yeah,
responsibly
we hate everyone
developing our
else.
almost
Oh, sorry.
limitless natural resources.
They're not limitless, but anyway.
We also greatly expand our nuclear power industry. Small and very safe next generation nuclear power plants provide more clean energy every year.
Okay, first thing I'll agree with, short-term solution, sure, I'm in.
Yeah,
Long-term,
I don't think
no.
that's bad. No, I
Okay.
think for right now, I don't have a problem with it. While we,
Yeah, for
you know,
absolutely. Butter knives, I mean, look at this. Could it be that we're honest? Jesus Christ, these people.
Meanwhile, private business realizes the advantages of producing products from pharmaceuticals to heavy machinery in the United States.
wait, pause.
Yeah. You had it. Go.
Okay. Dutch, I might need you to walk
Yes.
me through this. I might be a little confused. Okay, so
Oh yeah, I mean, you are a woman. It's okay.
I know my little tiny woman brain is confused. I'm gonna need your help.
Hold on. Let me channel.
I need a man to tell me how
I-
the country works.
Hello, Lindsay. It's me, Matt Walsh.
I know. Okay, tell me how this works. Okay, so don't they always talk about how we are like capitalism? This, like, what we have is capitalism. We are the capitalist bastion on the hill. We are the last bastion of capitalist freedom. So if we are in fact this like capitalist haven, why haven't these private industries taken up these mantles already? If there's so much capitalism, so this would be like such a good business opportunity for them in this capitalist haven we have. Why aren't they doing it? And what do they think is going to change that they suddenly want to do it?
Well, Lindsay, thank you for asking Matt Walsh this question, and let me educate you, because we all know you're a woman and you have a brain half the size of that of a man.
Yeah.
Science. That was
I'm
Ron Burgundy.
incapable. I only hope that I can understand what you tell me.
Well, Lindsay, it's because it's woke.
Okay.
No, but apparently they don't understand opportunity cost, because it's the capitalist countries who outsource this because of capitalism.
See, that's what I thought isn't with our capitalist system, they outsource all of this to other countries where they can get it done more cheaply. What do they think will happen in the United States that they will have like lower opportunity costs here?
France has been getting more of their electric power from nuclear for generations. I didn't know that was true, but it sounds normal. I also understand how a business free of taxes makes billions on new energy. Yeah, that's a butter knives. I mean, common sense would say that they should pay taxes. But anyway, we'll continue on. Guess what, Lindsay? There's more.
Government does
I'm
all
so
it
glad.
can to encourage this boom.
We can't
using
see
onerous
this, Dutch.
regulations,
You're watching
insisting
the
on
movie by
fair trade
yourself.
agreements.
Oh, I forgot to put it back. Thank you. Let's go back. Here we go again. My bad.
Government does all it can to encourage this boom, easing onerous regulations, insisting on fair trade agreements.
First of all, you don't like fair trade.
No, they
and
don't.
when necessary, imposing strategic tariffs.
Tariffs would hurt who?
There it is. Free trade asterisk, kind of.
Yeah, fair trade would not have tariffs. So what the fuck are you talking about?
No, it's like it's just like what Neria brought up. Like, we're capitalists, but like secretly socialist, but just like corporate welfare. So similar, like free trade for us and tariffs for everyone else, and bootstraps also for them.
Yes, and Matt Walsh.
Mm-hmm.
I love my chat. I have a feeling, though, that most of the folks in the chat are from my channel. I have a bad feeling, though, that like later when I'm streaming later on tonight, they're going to be very angry that it's just me by myself.
I know. Where's like tons of mice and Killmonger born. Well, Killmonger.
Oh, those. Yeah, I don't know where those
he-
guys are at. Where are they?
Killmonger born
Yeah.
found out I'm married, so he might not be back. But
You never know. He might be back. We'll see. Killmonger, get back here. He broke his heart.
I know. Sorry.
Along with this economic growth comes growth in personal income.
By the way, Lindsay not married. She is. Yeah. Well, there's a couple people from chat on Digging America. Yeah. By the way, that's a rumor. Lindsay not married, very single.
Oh my
very-
God.
Yeah.
We'll keep my marital status ambiguous to get more followers.
People feel prosperous again.
They even put a brown woman in there. I mean, and this is exactly to where I got to before. So, but can we just agree? The white guy in the picture, can you put some socks on?
No, he's so free. He doesn't have to have onerous regulations about socks. He's free, Dutch. Let him be free.
Okay. You're right.
5.
All I saw was the title, but I have a feeling this is for you.
How many were there? Is there only 5? God, I forgot how many there are.
Yeah, this is the 5th one.
Oh
This is
my
the last
God.
one.
I feel like we've been doing this for like 3
I'm going to
weeks.
shut up. I'm going to shut up and just let you.
Oh no. All right.
Marriage becomes the cool and smart thing to do. Young women realize devoting themselves to a career is not a substitute for good marriage and family. They
Oh
start
my
dating
God.
with intention.
Go ahead.
It always is just like, you know what? We need these ladies to could you take it down a notch? Lower your expectation. Like I just like
Yeah, calm down, Cupcake.
no, this is like this feels like a Mormon again, to be honest. This is straight out of the Mormon, like no success at the workplace can compensate for failure in the home, like every day drilled into your head, but only for the ladies. And notice this is only for the ladies. They're not telling men like, hey, maybe step up and don't be so mid and work on yourselves and somebody would want to date you. Learn how shampoo works. And maybe a woman would want to be like in public with you. No, it's like, hey, ladies, I know you have like these careers and all this, but if you could just marry these incels, then and have babies.
They want to be Iran. I don't understand why
No,
they hate
they really
Iran
do.
so much.
No, they really, really do, because actually somebody in the Republican, Idaho Republican scene was just like, we need a bill, and it's probably going to get floated, a bill to get rid of no-fault divorces, because he's like, women leave marriages more, and we got to stop those bitches, so we got to get rid of no-fault divorces, because the women don't want to stay with us and don't want to be married, and so we have to force them. And this kind of has that vibe. It's definitely a ladies like, haha, you had your fun and remember how you got to like work and stuff, but it's a man's world. So you need to start popping up the babies. I don't.
I love the imagery there too.
I know. Yeah.
Look how much happier she is. Wait, hold on. Let's go back to the video here real quick. Look how much happier she is here than she was when she was working a minute ago.
I know.
Like when she was working, I can't find the screenshot of it, but when she was working a second ago, there it is. Look.
Oh my gosh. She has a red X through her. How could you live that way?
Young women realize devoting
Look, she's up late. She's got her coffee, the lights on. You know, she looks stressed. But then here,
themselves to a career is not a substitute for good marriage and family.
She's on 4 antidepressants and looking to file for divorce.
Yeah, they raise the eyebrows. You know, the daughter has red hair. The son looks just like her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
she's convincing.
Yeah, she needs to learn her place. Let them. And here's the other thing too. Here's just my little thing. So there is no way. Mother's little helper. Like let's get them all the medications. They're going to be great. And that's actually how you can be more happy, like just, functionally alcoholic on uppers. But they always talk about like, we need wives, you need to stay home, you need to be moms, not acknowledging the reality that in our world, you cannot survive in a single income family. That doesn't exist anymore. You can't do it. And instead of, and their whole excuse is, instead of talking about the late stage capitalism that's led us to where we are today and made that the situation that we have, they say, well, it's because we have women in the workplace. And if they'd all just leave, then we'd have 1 million jobs for men. And then women would be at home making sandwiches for men, and it would just be so good. The world would be better. I just can't. Yeah. I was going to say, and somebody brought up, I love this comment. Let me see. Yeah, the kids are also her responsibility. They didn't say, men, you are also a parent, so take care of your damn children. No. It's, hey, ladies, could you just like get married and shut up? We're so sick of you. We're so sick of your women opinions.
So, yeah, you shouldn't have look, Matt Walsh has been very clear about this.
Killmonger!
Very
Yay!
Oh, there he is.
Hey!
Look at that.
We were just talking about you.
And you put the hearts in there.
I know, thank you.
How sweet. You're still loved, Lindsay.
Even though I'm married.
Start dating with you.
Well, but not by him though.
Intention. Find a good man. And
find a good man. Look how happy. I'll let this play for a second.
Men respond by once again defining manhood as marrying and taking care of a wife and family.
Oh, good. Manhood will once again be defined by the possession of a woman who gives you children. I love it. God damn. That's what we're missing.
That's part of what I was going to ask you at the end of the date. Would you like to be my possession?
Yeah. Would I like to be property? Oh my gosh. I thought no man would ever ask if I would like to just be, property.
I can't do this anymore.
And if that's manhood, like, really? Like,
the comments to this must just be a joy. It must just be a joy.
Yes.
So,
no, and I agree. Like, Butter Knife says, not to say there aren't women who like that lifestyle, but expecting women to conform to it is BS. I agree. That's feminism says, whatever you choose. If you want to be a stay-at-home mom who has 10 kids, I do not care. If that is everything that you want and that fulfills you, I love that for you. I will fight all day for you to be able to have that. I think that you should have that. We should live in an economy where you can do that if that is what you want to do with your life. But this whole idea that the greatness of our country depends on women very rigidly being part of these gender roles where they are subservient to their husbands and their husband's property so that he can feel like a real man. Like, this is part of fascist teachings. Like, strict gender roles are part of fascism.
Yep. But don't tell them that. Don't tell them.
No, they love that. It's their favorite
you shouldn't
part.
You shouldn't even know that. You should be happy like that little girl and just, being happy in a marriage. And that's
if I couldn't read, I bet this video wouldn't be so upsetting.
There's a solution. Well, I have to email Dennis Prager and make sure that he knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, get on podcast, Nitro. Podcasts are all the rage.
The studies turn out to be true.
They do.
Marriage leads to more financial success, more personal fulfillment, a greater sense of purpose than living alone in pursuit of career goals.
And not for women, actually.
They chose the woman. Why?
Women,
and let it be noted. You're on look at the woman. She's on her third cup.
I know. Look at her. She is stressed out. Look, she's got like a water bottle and a little tiny espresso over there. She is not happy. This isn't true. Like, there have been so many studies that have shown that women who don't get married or women who are single after marriage rate their happiness higher than married women. But I'm sure they didn't look at that because men don't.
No.
Single men and men who are post-divorce or widowers, they rate their happiness significantly lower than when they were married.
You note there's no source here.
No, of
Wheelie
course not.
Snarky Dragon, good night. And we're still thinking of you, brother. I know you got your shit coming up, and we hope everything goes well.
Yes, I was going to say, you sleep. You get all that rest.
Get that rest you need. If you want Prager to take your message, say you're calling from Mr. Koch's offices. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Okay, back to the woman who's all stressed out. Hopefully by the end of the video, she's married and happy.
The marriage rate goes up across all races, and the average age that people get married goes down, reversing a 50.
When what? When they take away all our rights?
They want the marriage rate to go back to like 17.
Wait, but he said marriage rates go up and marriage age goes down, but like why? Based on what? I missed that.
Hold on. Sir, could you rewind the movie for my date? Yeah. Oh, okay. He said he will. Hold on.
My lady brain, I was too slow.
Yeah, I'm sorry. She's a little slow. Woman. It's a woman. Yeah.
Fulfillment, a greater sense of purpose than living alone in pursuit of career goals. The marriage rate goes up across all races, and the average age that people get married goes down, reversing a 50-year trend.
Based on
so
what?
There was no point. There is no point there.
This is in their made-up future?
Yeah, they say that if we do all the other things that they've been doing, the marriage rate will go down. The rate will go up, and the age of women getting married will go down because that's ideal society to them.
Well, yeah, if they get rid of public education, so women have no education, and they also take away literally all of our rights. Yeah. If your only option is marriage, that is true.
See, what you have to remember here is they did not cite that as. See, we as critical thinkers, this is I think what Lindsay did here because Lindsay is a critical thinker. She was like, "Wait a minute, what is the benefit of getting married younger that they're citing here?" That was where Lindsay made the mistake because she forgot that this was Republicans for a second, and she mistook them for people who were making a legitimate argument. The benefit. There was no benefit to getting married earlier. Getting married earlier is the actual benefit.
Yeah, no, that I realized that it's their whole thing is like if we do all of these other things, marriage age will go down and more people get married. So we're just in the land of
me too. Yeah, it fooled me too.
We're just in the land of make up whatever you want. So it's like if I got $1 million, I'd shit a unicorn. Like we're just making stuff up.
Yeah, like they would say, like, oh well, if we were to promote what do they call that? Deconversion therapy, like where they talk gay people out of being gay.
Yeah.
Then heterosexual marriage would go up. But they don't talk about what might be the impact of that. No, that's where you stop calculating. Is marriage going up? That's all we need.
Yes, just make the graphic.
Never mind suicide rates and divorce
By
rates.
the time we've gotten to 4 minutes, I've practically been given a lobotomy by PragerU, so they could say anything, and everybody's brain has shut off.
They only have about 40 seconds left.
My God.
Both men and women are happier and experience less depression than the previous generation.
What's your
based on what? Based on what?
Yeah, they have there's no sources.
No.
5 action steps to a new American century. We return to our Judeo-Christian roots. Take control of our kids' education. Laugh cancel culture into oblivion.
Okay, wait,
Become
pause.
energy independent.
Pause.
Make marriage cool again.
I want to watch them laugh. I want to see that they can laugh. I want to watch them laugh cancel culture into oblivion. Like just start now. And they just start laughing. I think we can distract them with, they just laugh. We'll be like, laugh harder. And maybe it'll all go away.
It's almost like an R. Kelly song. 1, we return to our Judeo-Christian roots. 2, take control of kids' education. 3,
R. Kelly's going to sue us.
Laugh cancel culture into oblivion with me. 4, become energy independent. And 5, Make marriage great again. 6, I go to jail. And never mind. R. Kelly can't sue me. He's locked up in jail. So, all right, that's pretty much the end of it. I think that there's
Wow.
I don't know what they have 30 seconds more of, but let's find out.
Marriage, cool again.
Great again.
We don't have to pass any laws or raise any taxes. We just need the will, the courage, and grit to create a better future.
I'm sorry.
We
How
need
are
to
they
have-
going to use grit to get rid of regulations?
Are they talking about sandpaper?
Yeah. What? They really do
Yeah,
just live in this made up universe where it's just like, say whatever feels right. This is insanity.
I'm interested in some of the comments here. What a wonderful world it could be if only people would follow these steps, says Red Byron. Sounds like someone I'm glad doesn't listen. You nailed it. This is a great video, best I've ever seen. I hope this video is a sign that you are staying involved in efforts to help your country, says Matt Davis.
Who are these people?
Mongoose, this is exactly what we need. TJ Myers, a woman, says, amen. Back to our roots, God and his word.
Tons of mice.
Hey, tons of mice.
I
What's
saw
up,
you
tons of
were
mice?
I saw you were checking out some other toes on Twitter.
Yeah, tons of mice. You have no toe loyalty.
None.
Say
I
hello,
saw
chat,
it.
to
I
tons of
saw
mice.
it.
I think I'm not sure which Twitch he's watching on. The big convo appears to be in, actually, I'm not sure which it's on. I think it's on, let me tell you which one it's on. It is on, it's kind of split between the two. So you'll be fine on either one. But yeah, so one more real quick video. I just want to show you this one. This one is not.
While you're
This one is going to be more for Anna than you.
Oh, okay.
It's a bird.
But
Should we snag her?
I can't wait to play this on Wednesday. And tons of mice. You're going to love this one, so don't go anywhere.
Oh, hey, tons of mice. I just started watching White Lotus. Have you ever seen that? Because I think the director has a foot thing. There are a lot of feet shots, like an inordinate amount of feet shots. And I thought of you. So you might be really into that.
He's streaming it on his other phone.
I would like immediately. He's running.
Tons of Mice has two. Well, for you, the troll is toes. For Anna, it's literally birds aren't real. Here you go.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's a drone. Well, Russia's new drones will take that famous phrase quite literally. The idea is for Russia to fool its enemies by making its drones look like owls, according to Russian media. The new 11-pound aircraft looks like an owl in flight and is armed with...
That does not look like a fucking owl.
I was like, what owls do they have in Russia?
That's it. I just wanted to show that. And I don't know who's going to be fooled by that one. But it looks more like maybe I might be fooled into thinking it was a kite.
No, it's just like it looks like a alien, like some winged alien. So, past shelf date. No, I just have big eyes and a little mouth. I have Ehlers-Danlos, so I have like that face. That is, yeah, I have really big eyes and little mouth. That's just how I live my life. This is just my face.
What's going on in your neck of the woods?
Oh my God. Like eternal shit show after shit show. So just this week, there was House Bill 71 that they had testimony and in committee, and what it is it makes it a felony to provide gender affirming care to trans kids. So their whole big push was surgery. That doesn't happen in Idaho. There's literally no surgeons in Idaho who do there's no bottom surgery surgeons in the entire state. And the only
Yeah.
one is Top Surgery, who travels here and will only do it on people older than like 24 or 25. But they also
and I
don't
think
want
like
to.
98% of the surgeries are top surgery.
Yeah. Yeah. And they like the hospital systems here have a strict policy, like you have to have a certain amount of therapy, certain amount of like all of these things. It takes years to get it done. And if most people want to do it, they just go out of state because it's so much easier to go out of state and do it, because you can do it after 18 because you can't do it here till you're in your 20s. So they were gonna, but what they're also doing is they won't be able to do hormones and they won't be able to do puberty blockers. So it's a felony for the doctor and the parents. So they constantly talk about parent rights, but if you as a parent meet with your doctor and decide puberty blockers are a good choice for your trans child, both you and the doctor will go to jail for 10 years. So that got out of committee, and they all were. They're like, well, let's not, like, I don't understand what's going on, but let's ban it because trans kids. And then they went to, so then what they also did, like, again, parents' rights. So they also passed a bill, not law yet, but probably will be, that makes it also illegal to take your child across state lines to get an abortion. And it's under the human trafficking statute. And so even if you give your permission as a parent or you take them as a parent, you're facing
Tons
5
of
years jail.
We're trying to have a serious conversation here, Tons of Mice.
Wait, what's happening?
Bill said your mind's your best feature, and Tons is like, you haven't seen her toes.
I mean, you haven't either, Tons of Mice.
Well, the bird drone.
I think it's the mystery at this point. I guess I didn't know I had like an anime face. I haven't really watched anime ever, but I'll just know if I'm having low self-esteem, I'll go to an anime conference and with my big eyes. But yeah, and this comment brings up, yeah, as far as I know, a year of hormone therapy and living as the target gender are already requirements. Yeah, there's so many. There's already so many like mechanisms put in place by regulatory bodies, by hospitals, by the doctors themselves. So the legislature just coming in and blanket banning it is ridiculous. But so if they pass those laws, it will be legal in Idaho to deny your child life-saving medical care until they die, if it's your deeply held religious beliefs. And we have kids that die every year of strep, of like everything, just meningitis, everything. No, because all you have to say in Idaho is, it is my deeply held religious belief that the only way we combat any illness is kombucha. And they deny their kids life-saving medical care, like everything. It's not just like Jehovah's Witnesses with blood transfusions. Like they can deny their baby, like in the NICU, they could deny them like breast milk or formula until
yet
the baby
they
dies.
want to make women, they want to make parents who affirm their children's transition guilty of child abuse.
Yes. So you can deny your child life-saving medical care until they die if it's your deeply held beliefs. But it's illegal for you. It's a felony for you to get your child gender-affirming care if they're trans, or to take them across state lines to get health care if that health care happens to be abortion. But they're super pro-life and pro-parents' rights.
I almost think that that maybe the left, I'm saying this somewhat sarcastically, but with a hint of non-sarcasm, maybe we should just say that's our religion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what the Satanic Temple is trying to do. They just opened that abortion clinic in New Mexico because they
have they?
Abortion,
so they're ahead of the curve on this.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have several lawsuits going. In Idaho at the state capitol on Monday, they're doing a gender affirming ritual. They planned that a long time ago, but like it's also timely in response to these like anti-trans bills. And so, yeah, anyway, so that's what's been going on. They also still, if you're under 18, or they want to take away, you can't use student ID as identification to vote. They several legislators made it so children can't come and testify. So like they're making laws about trans kids and then trying to make it so trans kids can't come testify about how that will impact their lives. So
the thing is, they just want it to be that they don't exist. And like,
Mhm.
I have met so many trans individuals since I started doing Twitch. Because it turns out that there's a few on here,
Mhm.
and they are like the best fucking people. Like, they're awesome fucking individuals. And I listened to some of these streams. Some of you guys in the Twitch chat know some of the people that I'm talking about. But like they, USA Whole, Tofu, many others.
Yeah.
And all they want is to exist.
Yeah. Oh,
That's where it starts and ends, is that existence.
Yeah. I just posted a TikTok. It's not doing well, which pisses me off. Everything I post about trans people never does well. But at that hearing, this amazing trans girl named Eve got up and testified, and the legislators tried to stop her. Like, as soon as she got really real with what this all means for her, they tried to shut her down, and she was incredible. We should, like, if you have a minute, we should play it. I'm so impressed with her.
You want to pull it up?
Yeah, let me see if I can.
I know. Look, I know you're just a woman.
I know. I don't know if I can do it, Dutch. You might have to help me.
Let me turn into Matt Walsh. Now listen, Cupcake.
Oh.
You're getting hysterical.
I don't know how to.
I have to stop my screen first. Okay, now.
Okay, yeah, you started here just a second because I have to. It didn't log me in. I usually do it on my phone.
Oh, just put it in the private chat then.
Okay.
Real quick. Because it might log you out if you're not logged in.
Yeah, here just a second. Let me pull. Let me just do this. Let me see if it.
I would give you my ASMR moment while we're doing this, but I don't think that. In the meantime, if you guys are on TikTok, you should follow this person. This person right here. Lindsay's TikTok is at socialistly awkward. SOCIALISTLY awkward. Which I believe is AWKWARD. It's one of my most commonly misspelled words. But
there we go.
Go follow her on TikTok.
Let me see if the link copied. There we go. Okay, it was, I think, on a desktop. It's such an awkward site.
All right, let me get this going. And here you go, guys, in the chat. There is Lindsay's TikTok. Go follow it.
Thank you. Yeah, socialistly awkward, but awkward with a W, not aquad. Awkward.
I spelled it right.
No, you did. I just
Yeah,
just
awkward is
it is a
troubling
weird
word to spell.
It's really interesting that it is spelled so difficultly because it is awkward.
Yes, that's true. Okay, so I got to do it this way. I see. It is Eve. There it is. Boom.
Trans girl. Last year, when House.
Hold on. I don't think that was supposed to start yet. All right.
I'm
you hear
Eve
it?
Devitt, and I am a 17-year-old trans girl. Last year, when House Bill 675 was being pushed.
Is the volume coming through?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got it.
All right. I'll just start it over.
If you click on it, I think it'll make it full screen.
I'm a 17-year-old trans girl. Last year, when House Bill 675 was being pushed through, I stood here and pleaded for my and my trans siblings' rights not to be taken away. And here I stand to testify again. Since I started estrogen almost 3 whole years ago, my mental health has gotten significantly better. I've been able to get myself off of a cliff that I wasn't sure if I would ever find myself off of. And I feel so much better and more complete with myself. In less than 24 hours, I will be going on a plane to go to a consultation for SRS or sexual reassignment surgery, which is planned to be taking place in a little over a year. I see this as my final step into the body that I should have been born into. This bill threatens to not only bar me from receiving this care, but also from accessing the hormones that have single-handedly not only improved, but saved my life. It threatens to mark some of the kindest, most loving and caring people I've ever met, my endocrinologists and every other medical professional that has helped me through my transition, as criminals and sentence them to up to 10 years in prison. Look, I know that the proponents of this bill don't want to see trans kids like me alive or living our best lives. I know that you think that the
Madam Chair, Eve, we've got to rein it in.
Okay.
I understand you're passionate, but you don't know where
look,
people are going
Cupcake.
to vote. You're trying to convince
Yeah.
them.
Okay, that was a little too honest.
I know. I am sick and tired of seeing the people on this committee constantly try to take away my rights every single year, but I'm not tired of fighting back. If you care about the rights for parents to choose what is right for their kids, like you stated you had just earlier today, then you will vote against this bill. I'm Eve Devitt, and I am a...
Anyway, I am so impressed with her.
I love how they tried to shut her up. Like,
Yeah.
did they shut up any of the people railing against trans and know nothing about it?
No. Oh, there were people. I'm going to make a compilation because there was somebody talking about how I shouldn't laugh. It's awful. But she's like, and they would constantly, everyone who's against it, they're like, stick to the bill, stick to the bill. When they were talking about the bill. And there was some lady who's like, most of my life struggled with same-sex attraction and wanting to be with women. But then I fell in love with Jesus and realized I had to marry a man. And I've successfully been married to my husband for 5 years. And I was like, oh no.
Stick to the bill.
Yeah, stick to the bill. There was somebody who talked about going to Woodstock and then how after that she became Christian. And so she knows that being trans is against Will's God. That didn't get stopped for not being part of the bill. There was somebody talking about how we can all be saved through the grace of, like it was like, you think we were at church. They didn't stick to the bill and they didn't say anything to them. But Eve is really honest about what this means and speaking truth to power, and they just could not hang.
Well, you know, one of the many Woodstock Christianity converts.
Yeah.
You know, there's an entire segment of society saved at Woodstock.
Yeah.
We just don't talk about them enough.
No, we don't. And then their current opinions on transgender kids.
Yeah, and like somebody commented earlier, I forgot, I didn't see who it was, but credit to whoever said that comment. Like it was basically like, you know, they're going to make you think you can get it at a drive-in. Like it's, people say all the time, and they'll say in my chat a lot, they'll be like, I'm okay with people being trans. I just think they should leave the kids out of it. And like, you're buying into the entire narrative that like,
yeah,
do they really think that like, let's say that a trans kid comes out as trans to their teacher and their teacher is going to like secretly help them get a sex change. And then all of a sudden one day their kid's going to go home to their parents and then Joe is going to be Josephine and the star of the junior high basketball team. Like,
yes, they really do think that.
They must think this because like I keep trying to tell people, dude, that's not happening. Do you seriously believe that like teachers are like funneling kids? They might funnel them to mental health care, but not to some doctor to get. They don't have the right to do that. They can't do that in anything, much less that. It's not happening.
No, and we have friends who their trans child has really, really, really struggled, and they had to do more than a year of therapy, and they had multiple suicide attempts before the doctor would consider using puberty blockers. Like it was a really harrowing process for their family to even get that. There was nothing quick about it. There was nothing hasty. There was no quick decision made. It literally became a life or death option. And that's why they started it. And that's how it is for so many people. And so then blanket banning that, they are basically saying, we don't actually care if you live. Like they really don't. They don't care if trans kids live as long as they can feel like a victor in this culture war.
It's almost like the Dr. Ebenezer Scrooge line. Better them to die and decrease the surplus population.
That's really how they feel. And as soon as Eve was brave enough to say it, that's when they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You don't know. Maybe we were going to vote for you. No, they fucking weren't. No, Confederate flag Heather, she was never going to vote for the trans kids.
Unfortunately, this has become probably the most important issue in America right now. And people are like that. They always talk about, oh, it's the LGBTQ agenda, etc. The LGBTQ community does not go on the news talking about this. They end up having to fight against the news stories blowing it out of proportion by the media, both left and right. But more specifically on the right wing, because they're making it seem like like they're taking over our culture, right? Like they'll be like, oh my God, there was 2 movies made in the last 2 years that had trans people in them. After 100 years of zero, they have one, and they're like, oh, this movie's so fucking woke. But in the meantime, we had our 3rd Christian movie released this year. I thought Hollywood was woke.
Exactly. Or it'll just be even something as simple as like right now in Idaho, everyone's in uproar because there are school policies that trans kids can use the bathroom. Like they're in uproar because how many trans kids are in the state? Maybe 1,000 in the entire state. And they're super like frustrated that they use the bathroom, and just the meltdowns are insane. And it's they've been using bathrooms for years and nobody cared until the last 2 years, and now that's a total crisis, and the gay agenda and and
hi HR. And also, like, I talked about this briefly a couple weeks ago. Remember I told you there was a protest at the bathroom at the hospital,
yes.
and like they're protesting a gender neutral bathroom, whatever you want to call, all gender bathroom, not agender, all gender bathroom. And then they're like, oh, you can't. There's going to be fucking people jumping. Men are going to be molesting little girls in there. You literally walk into this all gender bathroom, you close the door behind you, and you lock it.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you afraid of? It's the same as the bathroom at your house. Go boycott that one.
Exactly. Yeah, it's
HR just sent us an email that she got. I'll let you do the honors. So let me give you a little context though. HR said HR Johnson is on a and thank you for joining again, HR. We always love when you're here. Why don't you join us next week, HR? That would be fun to have you on this show.
Oh yeah, we haven't had a guest yet.
I ended up on a crazy email list that I stay on to see what they are sending out. This one is from the Center for Garden State Families. So she's signing up for this to troll.
Here we go.
But go ahead.
All right. Gender ideology. This is the quote. This is not me. Just for posterity.
I'll put it back down because we can't see you when you read this. But
I'm too short.
See it there.
With my little anime.
You were like looking.
I know. I can't see it. Right. Okay. Gender ideology is not scientific. As we at the Center for Garden State Families have said many times before, everything LGBTQIA XYZ is a lie. There remains no replicated scientific study supporting any specific biological etiology for homosexuality. They said like so many half things.
That's from the old American. They quoted one from 2000.
Yeah, the American Psychiatric Association from May 2000. But they just said so many things that were like incongruent in there. Anyway, without any scientific justification, without any sociological replicated studies validating anything other than heterosexuality, we are causing grievous harm to a population, especially ... Like.
Yeah. So hold on real quick. I'm going to cite an article from CNN, 2006, as we have had no African-American presidents yet in this country. Cite. Turns out that's an old study. Turns out since then, they have done studies. So you're a dishonest hack.
I was going to say, they always conflate gender and sex, and those are not the same things. And then they'll say there was a study that shows like the vast majority of people, there are only two sexes. That's not what we're talking about when we talk about gender affirming care.
It's not, but a study from 23 years ago is no longer relevant.
No, exactly. That'd be like if they quoted from like 1965 where they said being gay is a mental disorder. Okay, well, we don't still believe that. So, you know,
yeah, that's what I meant when I said like, oh, in 06, we would probably have articles that said we'd never had a black president before. That doesn't mean those articles remain true.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah,
You know,
no,
it turns out in the last 23 years, we've had studies. Just because you don't like their results doesn't mean you get to cite old information. But again, they don't care.
No, they don't.
So like,
care
why am I even bothering? They don't care.
They don't care. No, the whole point is to make people scared about LGBTQ people. Because there's even like, this is the thing that's so frustrating is on that committee. This is where we are. This is where we are as a country. One of the people on the committee said, actually, my sister-in-law just died by suicide and she was trans in this hearing where Eve was. And then they still voted to ban care for trans kids. Like they recognized this has directly impacted my life. And then they still said, well, but we should, oopsie doopsie. Like that's where we are. Because people know trans people know LGBTQ, like almost every family has somebody, or somebody at work, or somebody you went to school with. Like everybody knows an LGBTQ person. And for them to still then be fear-mongering about this when everybody knows somebody just shows that they're not actually interested in having a conversation about this. They're interested in ostracizing and demonizing that group.
Yeah, and HR brings up that they're part of Liberty Council. Here's the mission statement for Liberty Council. I know exactly who they are, but I didn't know their mission statement. We embrace a worldview. Liberty Council is a corporate expression of Christian believers who profess Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior and join together in regular prayer. Our doctrinal statement and worldview statement is affirmed by every employee, staff member, and person who represents the ministry. Here it is. We embrace a worldview that is historically Christian and biblical. We believe that God exists and is the creator and source of all things, truth and knowledge, all value and wisdom. We believe God has designed an orderly universe and that every human being is created in the image of God, no matter his age or stage or status in life. Each person has intrinsic value and rights. We believe that God is actively at work in the world and has been throughout history. It goes on and on, but apparently you don't believe in the intrinsic values and rights.
No, only for them. Other people don't get those rights. They view the Constitution as a tool to try to oppress others, but it also is to maintain their rights. Other people shouldn't have access to that.
Disgusting fucking human beings. And this is one of the reasons why I think, and I know Lindsay does this in a de facto way as well, but like Christian nationalism is like one of the main things that I fight against. People are like, what the fuck is that? And like we had a conversation the other day, and I know that we're probably at your time already, but I kind of got into, so I just want to throw you this because maybe I assumed you would agree with me on this. I didn't do this on the show, but like we watched a video the other day. There was a girl who ended up murdering or joint suiciding. I'm not sure which of the two. That there was different reports. It was either a murder-suicide or a suicide pact with a girl named Linus Awakens, who may or may not have been trans. There was reports saying that she may have been struggling with that. But the bottom line is that she was clearly indoctrinated by religion. And when I played that, like she had been kept in her home. She had been like basically a prisoner in her own home, indoctrinated with Christianity, possibly, told to hide her identity as a trans person. Possibly, again, I'm saying that as possibly.
Yeah.
And, but a lot of real clear religious indoctrination. And Mikey and Tim were like, well, I'm not sure that this is like a normal thing. I don't think this is a big problem. I'm like, dude, you did not grow up adjacent to evangelicalism the same way that I do. They are literally talking about these things as normal within evangelical spaces. you're just like and then Tim had said kind of, and I'm paraphrasing, and I'm not mad at him for saying this. I'm just telling you where we disagreed, that he was like, I'm not 100% sure that like Christians are going to revolt. Like they're like actually preparing for a war. Now, I agree. I don't think that they're ready to attack tomorrow, but there's clearly something going on with this Great Awakening verbiage. And like, I wanted to get your thoughts on, like, I know I just encapsulated it in a very small piece, but like, what do you see being adjacent to this community? Is it similar to like what I see, or am I over exaggerating? Or,
no,
what are your thoughts?
Christian dominionism is on the rise and it's everywhere. Like, that's part of what I've been fighting against is there are not zero pastors in Boise preaching that gay people should be murdered. And they talk about it openly. Yeah. Shield of Faith talks about it. There's churches up in North
they in Idaho?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Go figure.
They're in Boise. But there's all of these groups like openly talking about it. They have like, this is part of what they talk about. Like, our legislators talk about, like, we need to look at religion. We need to be guiding by religion. Like, women need to be adhering to religion. Like, it's all of these things. It's all these Christian dominionism. But that's a major factor in the redoubt. Like, that is a major factor in these militia groups. Like, you aren't overstating this. They actually, for real, believe that they need to train and stop the government because the government is going to try to force wokeness on them, and that they need to create this safe haven where they can force everyone here to live in a Christian dominionism kind of way. And it varies. Some of them actually believe there will be a real war, and not only a few of them, and that they will actually have to fight. Or they talk about, like, if you lived in Idaho, not like probably once a week, someone, not in a joking way, like somebody in a grocery store, somebody, because they're very comfortable here because there's lots of them, but they'll say things like, well, in the coming Civil War, when we have to, you know, get rid of all the woke people, like, they'll say that, and they're joking, but they're not. Like, it's something that they think is a real possibility, that there will be a civil war and they will have to like get rid of the woke people, which we all know means people of color, gay people, Democrats. Like, our chairwoman of the Idaho GOP said, like, when she got elected, she said, get your guns ready and be prepared if we have to use them on the Democrats. Like, that's not just rhetoric.
Be prepared. It's like Scar singing The Lion King.
Yeah. No, it really, so no, you aren't overstating this. Like, living in the midst of it, there is a segment of the population that 100% believes there will be some kind of a conflict, and that their job is to do something terrible to everyone they disagree with.
Yeah. And like, it's generally speaking, I would probably be inclined to agree with my co-hosts on Wednesday. And like, you know, I don't think that they're like being unreasonable. What I think is that they just don't have access to the same, you know, when you're in the atheist community, you're not adjacent to the evangelical community. And that's fine, right? Like, at least not by choice. You know, sometimes like yourself, you may be, because it's in your backyard, and like HR had said earlier, you know, did I share the video on the readout with you? I didn't. You live it. You know, like, I watched the documentary on it. You live in their backyard.
Yeah.
You know, so like they're, and I do you mind if I share a comment, the comment that you made with me about like the joke we said about Antifa in your phone call? So like Lindsay said to me once, she was like, well, once in a while I'll get calls from like Antifa, or the, you know, the people who at least are called Antifa, and they'll be like, do you want to be KILLED ? Because we just want to make sure that you're okay. Because these people will do that to you. You know, you can say it, but I paraphrase. You can probably talk about exactly what those conversations went with. They were looking out for your protection.
Yeah, every so often people will reach out. Like, I've got some networks of people watching these channels where they communicate, and they'll be like, hey, they're talking about like doing really awful stuff to you. Just so you know, like lock everything down, you know, make sure you're prepared, but they're talking about doing terrible things to you. And it'll like rotate between whoever they're mad at for that week. But they talk about doing really, really awful things to me. And in the like, I don't think I'm being over exaggerating when I say they hope somebody will do it. Like that is the goal. Is they say that Vincent James says somebody just needs to like RAPE that bitch, and he's not going to do it, but he hopes one of his followers do. And then he has plausible deniability, or they talk about taking me out or using me as target practice. Like they say really awful things. And so they'll let me know about that so I can like lock my shit down and just be prepared. But
well, they've made successful attempts to dox you too.
Oh, they've doxed me. Yeah. And periodically they try to dox me again. And so like that's the thing is it's not, I think.
And not dox you to send you a letter.
No.
Yeah.
And
I'm going to send Lindsay a very strongly worded
letter. Sternly worded letter. We don't appreciate your TikToks. And so that's the thing where it's like, I think depending on what part of the country you live in, like what is the general population demographic, you know, politically, religiously, like, and or the groups that you grew up or were associated with or who you work with. You know, I think if you live on the coast or like in Chicago or somewhere where there's lots of Democrats, it's a very urban area and you're not dealing with this. I'm sure it sounds like, damn, don't you think you're kind of playing that up a little bit? But when you're here and you're like outspoken about it, no, they really don't want, like they want bad things to happen to you and they view it as an actual war, or they perpetuate a narrative about it being a war because they know that people listening to them will do things about it. So
yeah. And that's why it's dangerous, Lindsay, because you know, and I respect the opinion of people who don't see this in their, you know, in their peripherals, but like you've got Victory Channel, you've got, you know, Shield, you've got a lot of these agencies that you know, there's a spectrum into how bad some of them are. And they're all bad, but how overt they are, right? And in their calls to action. And, you know, some pastors are more overt in their calls to actions than other people. But you see these ideas, we watch this PragerU video, all of those ideas are Christian nationalist ideas.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, except for maybe the one on trade. You know, the rest of that is all Christian nationalists.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know, the woman in the home is a Christian nationalist idea.
Yeah. Exactly. And all of these are, I mean, they're trying to play it up like, imagine how fun this would be. But that is absolutely, what Christian nationalism, Christian dominionism, those are all the things that they teach. And yes.
The education part too.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Like they heavily push, like in Idaho, there are huge pushes for private school, for homeschool. Like that homeschool is the gold standard for these groups. Like they're like, if you actually love your kids, if you've got your wife properly trained, your kids are homeschooled. And they tout that as a credential. Like legislators and these leaders will be like, my wife has only ever, like my child has never stepped foot in a public school. We only homeschool. Like,
yeah. And remember I brought this book up before? Yeah. Like it's got Christian nationalist ideas in here that are being taught to kids in private schools that literally will say things like the Trail of Tears was a missionary fucking opportunity.
Exactly. Well, we just had a legislator, like just to show you, this isn't rhetoric. Like we had an Idaho senator, a senator in Idaho who is making laws, who said that RAP, like, is an opportunity and that women should view it as an opportunity.
RAP. Oh, what is RAP? What's that?
RAPE. Sorry. I got really like.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Not rap. Rap can be an opportunity.
Rap music. Rap music is an opportunity for rednecks to make some money, right?
Yeah. But he was like, that should be viewed as an opportunity. Like without shame. He didn't care. And nobody stopped him, was like, you're fired. So, like, this is not a game for that. Like, I get that it's Idaho, and so nobody cares, and it's the Redoubt, and so, like, it is kind of like an ancillary thing for a lot of people, but it really is problematic. Like, it's like it's getting to the point where like I know a lot of people who are moving, and like I've had conversations about like at what point do I have to go? At what point am I no longer safe here, or do I need to go? And like that is a weird feeling to have living in this country. And I think a lot of people would probably be like, that's you're that sounds a little, you know, extreme. But that like I have people ask me, they're like, oh, do you have a plan? Like, do you have a go plan if you've got to get out? Like, that's insane that I make just like political satire TikToks and people are like, you have a plan to get out of the state, right? And but that's like where we're going. So it's not like no shade to Mikey or anybody else. I get that if you live in another part of the country, it's like, you know, it seems not that bad, or you don't have the experience to see how bad it is. And it's not the worst for me. Like people of color, outspoken people of color here, like trans people, like openly, like I'm bi, but like people living in very open LGBTQ relationships, they face so much persecution out here that it's probably unlike what other places are like.
I mean, this is why I asked you just out of the blue. I'm like, little sister, you got do you own a gun? Like, I just want to make sure because
yeah,
like,
no, around that same time, I had several Democrat legislators call me and they're like, "You okay? Like, you're armed, right?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm armed. I'm."
All right,
but,
so
yeah.
we're gonna give Lindsay her chance to give her. She does a little ASMR moment before we close the show.
So excited.
So we will do that. If you are watching the show on Dutch Jason's channel, I just checked. There's 3 people on Dutch Jason. If you don't mind, if you're watching over on the Dutch Jason channel, click that link. You're going to be watching the same show to Twitch, twitch.tv/Dig on America. When this gets over, we will raid out to a friendly program. And then I will be back on Dutch Jason channel in about 45 minutes. So, but yeah, it is ASMR time.
Yeah, and thank you everyone in the comments.
Much more fun than what we've done so far.
I know. Sorry, that got a little heavy there at the end. But I also wanted to say thank you to like Tons of Mice, HR Johnson, Champagne Commie, everyone. Thank you for like the support in the comments. I didn't mean to like, it's not woe is me. I don't have it the worst of anybody. I just am particularly vocal, but it's really bad for some people. And so people should know that's happening. Okay, I want to see if this is better.
Oh, that's good. I'm going on mute.
See, I upped my ASMR game. I was thinking about it all week.
I'm talking on mute, and you did. You've been up in your game. I like it.
I think I'm getting better. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll catch you guys next week.
All right, Lindsay. I will talk to you later. For those of you watching on the Dutch Jason channel, again, if you want to flip over to Dig on America real quick, we're going to raid out. If you want to be in that raid, obviously you don't have to be involved in the raid, but we'd like you to be involved in the raid if you would like. We're going to shoot over to let's see here let's go over to Echoplex Media. Bill, that should make you happy. Oh, is Echoplex Media on? They were on a second ago. Let's make sure that they are still on before we go over there and they are off. They were just on. Just double check. Oh yeah, Echoplex Media is still on. So we will go over there on a raid right now, and then I will be back. I will be back on Dutch Jason channel. So if you're not following me real quick on, I'm going to give a shout out. So there's a shout out to my other channel. I'll be back in about an hour. and we are heading over to Echoplex Media right now. Well, in like 3 seconds. So thank you very much. We'll see you next week on Left Angle on Dig on America. And I'll see you in an hour. Thank you, Mezer.